Yes, I'm so excited to see our children and young people off to school to continue chasing their dreams and making themselves proud by getting an education. It's another informative Wednesday edition of Jamaica Magazine, and we have lots to share with you today. I'm your host, Theodore Henry, ready to take you through today's interesting lineup. Pay attention, class is in session as we start off today's show with the news.
Good day, I am Adrian Atkinson and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, September 6, 2023. The Ministry of Transport is looking to expedite a refleeting of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, with efforts underway to bring forward and potentially expand the purchase of 200 new buses. Portfolio Minister Darrell Vaz made the disclosure during this morning's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. Minister Vaz says he has met with his counterpart at the Finance Ministry to discuss modifying previously announced plans for the purchase of 100 new buses in the 2024-2025 fiscal year and another 100 in the fiscal year 2025-2026.
I'm confident that in a matter of weeks, we will be in a position to state categorically how we have revised these figures, what the new figures are, and the timelines for the arrival of new buses. It would be, shall I say, it would be premature for me to go into much more detail, but to say categorically that as Minister, I'm confident that the commuters and the public at large will be hearing some very good news in relation to the refleeting of the JUTC.
He revealed that these new buses will be compressed to natural gas, CNG, and electric units as the government moves away from the diesel-fueled vehicles. Once these have been secured, the minister says it will allow for retiring a significant amount of the existing fleet, which are primary diesel-fueled buses. Minister Vaz made the announcement as he gave an update on the rollout of buses for the new school year. He revealed that the original target of rolling out 315 buses was not met due to about 70 extremely old rehabilitated units not being able to hold up as expected. 285 buses were available on Monday, and after rollout, 236 were operational, as some were affected by breakdowns related to fare machines and other mechanical defects. On Tuesday, 233 units rolled out, and up to 7 o'clock this morning, 265 buses were available. The rollout, which is done on a phased basis throughout the morning, began with 70 from the Portmore Depot, 65 from Spanish Town and 60 from Rockfort Depot. It's estimated that 25,000 passengers are being transported from Portmore and Spanish Town each, and about 15,000 from Rockfort.
Based on the reports that I've gotten and the feedback that I've gotten from commuters and others, that so far we have made a big improvement in this year's back to school. But there is much more improvement that can and will be done.
A pilot project to retrofit and install air conditioning units in 30 schools is to get underway soon. Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams made the disclosure during a visit to Hope Valley Experimental School on Monday. She says the initiative is important to reduce heat stress on students amid rising temperatures. The minister adds that greater use of solar energy in schools is being considered as part of the project. Schools at the early childhood, primary and secondary will be targeted. Minister Williams cautions that based on the level of retrofitting work that will be required to install these AC units, the project is likely to be a lengthy one. But she says the corrective measure will seek to improve the learning environment for students and staff as it addresses ventilation issues that have long existed in many schools. In the meantime, the Ministry of Education is reporting an increase in the number of students enrolled in the Sixth Form Pathways program for the 2023-2024 academic year. This was disclosed by Acting Chief Education Officer Dr. Casson Troop while speaking on a radio program on Tuesday. She says the data shows a massive jump from 14,000 to 24,000 plus students being retained in the secondary program of learning. This represents students in high schools as well as community colleges, teachers' colleges and private tertiary institutions. The Acting Chief Education Officer does, however, admit that there are challenges being experienced in Region 2, which covers St. Thomas, St. Mary and Portland. According to Dr. Troop, there are not a lot of tertiary institutions on that side of the island to accommodate the students. The ministry has been mapping the young people to institutions in Kingston, as well as retrofitting some institutions in the parishes and partnering with private schools to build out their facilities to accommodate students. The Sixth Form Pathways program allows students who complete grade 11 to pursue an additional 2-year course of study with alternative opportunities alongside the traditional Sixth Form curriculum. Under the program, students will be able to leave secondary education with a range of certifications. These include an occupational associate degree, certificate or diploma within an occupational discipline, an accredited CCCJ or UCJ associate degree, additional CSEC and City and Guilds subjects, and NVQJ and or Caribbean Vocational Qualification CVQ levels 2 or 3. Farmers in St. Thomas, Portland and Westmoreland will soon be receiving water storage tanks to improve their operations. The tanks, which include features or drip irrigation, are among 350 being distributed by the Tourism Enhancement Fund, TEF, at a cost of $10 million. Farmers in St. Elizabeth, St. James, St. Anne and more recently Trelawney have already benefited. During a recent ceremonial handover of 50 tanks to Trelawney farmers, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett said the initiative was part of government's long-term policy to bring more ordinary Jamaicans into the tourism value chain.
But we are helping out. And we are helping out the small and medium enterprises because you are the salt of the earth in tourism.
The TEF water tank project enables farmers to store water for use in times of low rainfall, allowing them to sustain and even expand their operations with the capacity to supply hotels and other tourist accommodations.
And I want you to know that fruits and vegetables constitute 350 billion Jamaican dollars of demand in tourism. You know that? And we have only been able to supply 20% of that. So you see how much more supply we can make. So the whole idea then is to build capacity and to enable the rain harvesting arrangements to be in good stead so that when there is drought or there difficulty, the farmers can still get a chance to produce the goods because we in tourism eat food.
And finally, government is moving to roll out a driver training short course for public passenger vehicle PPV operators soon. The initiative was announced by Prime Minister Andrew Holness in his budget debate on March 16. Transport Minister Darrell Valls provided the update at a recent Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services TODS workshop for drivers on finance and safety.
We have the template from Transport Authority, and now it is just for Ministry of Finance to advise in relation to the funding so we can formally announce the rollout of that initiative, which is very critical. It means that all drivers will have an opportunity to be retrained, whether or not they were trained before, and they will get an incentive to do so. And I think the incentive that was announced at the time was $25,000.
Minister Valls says more changes are coming regarding the issuing of licenses to PPV operators.
But more importantly, going forward, we won't need to do this again. Because before you get a license to transport the public, you will have to undergo and get a certificate that you will take to the Island Traffic Authority in order for them to grant that license. So again, we are being proactive.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
Listen up, parents. Listen up, students. There's an exciting opportunity for all students who recently received their results from the Regional Caribbean Examination Council exams. Yes, the Ministry of Education has created the Sixth Form Pathways program to ensure that all students can continue pursuing higher education and earn various achievements from associate degrees to internationally accredited skills. Find out more in this next feature.
Teacher chose him to do 3 subjects. He passed 2 and failed 1, get a 4. This is precisely why the ministry moved in this direction. We are cognizant that not every child will move at the same pace, and so pathways learning programs must be created for them.
Effective September 1, 2022, all students leaving 5th form at public high schools enroll in an additional 2 years of higher learning. This is done through the 6th Form Pathways program, an initiative of the Ministry of Education that's geared towards ensuring students receive the skills and competency development needed for today's advanced society. The program is also open to students who dropped out of school before completing 5th form once they are between the ages of 16 and 18. Having completed the Caribbean Secondary Examination Certificate at the end of 5th form or grade 11, students will be eligible for the program and must register at their current high school. Here's a look at the program in action.
Secondly, the infant mortality rate. How did that affect how many children the people want to have?
At Charlie Mount High, nestled in the hills of St. Catherine, an abandoned building was quickly retrofitted to accommodate the increased number of students due to the 6th Form Pathways program.
We have a large number of students applying for our 6th Form program. And so within the Pathway program, due to space constraints, we can only take a small number. We would want to take a lot more. And so those who are unable to join us and continue with us, we recommend them to other institutions.
140 students are currently enrolled in the program.
From grade 7 coming up, I've always leaned more to sciences, so it was quite easy when he came on to go into 6th form to select those subjects.
I was previously in Pathway 2 doing business subjects such as entrepreneurship and customer engagement. I have now matriculated to Pathway 1 by attaining all 5 CSEC subjects and is now doing all sciences. These would include agricultural science, environmental science, and computer science.
Desonja, who was previously in lower 6th form, was able to pursue an additional CSEC subject so she could qualify for the traditional Pathway 1. On Pathway 1, students pursue Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examinations CAPE subjects at the diploma or associate's degree level. Pathway 2 is the technical route and includes a mandatory NVQJ skill. Pathway 3 allows students to get additional CSEC subjects or pursue a specialized skill.
The Pathway program brought new initiatives. It allows us to be able to assist some of our students who would have not done well at CSEC. This gives us a second opportunity, a second chance to look at our students, to give them the opportunity for them to get to understand themselves and to do well.
What about the word independence now? How does that come in? Somebody said independence. Good. So what I want you to do in your group now is to analyze the criticisms that have been put forward against the demographic transition model.
Students are guided by their 6th form coordinator so they can be properly placed.
I would have had persons in Pathway 2 that is now matriculated to Pathway 1 because they were given the opportunity with their 1 or 2 subjects to sit those and come again to do the CAPES at Pathway 1.
Charlemont stands ready to work and to continue the program, the 6th Form Pathway program with the Ministry of Education. Each year we graduate, or in our graduating cohort, we have over 250 students, and we would love to have at least 3/4 of that number continue with us.
Since September 1, 2022, the Sixth Form Pathways program is offered at no cost to students. The government will pay $17,000 per student in secondary schools, $80,000 per student in private tertiary institutions, and $60,000 for students in public tertiary institutions. At the end of the program, students in high school will earn a National School Leaving Certificate Level 2. Students who participate in the Sixth Form Only program at tertiary institutions will receive the same certificate once they have completed the full 2 years.
In the future, I'd like to become a veterinary technician. The pathway that I'm on now, I'd excel in my science subjects because I'm in the science class. I would need more subjects to be accepted into the college of my dreams.
So my dream is to become a pharmacologist or something within the field of pharmacology. So I consider the Sixth Form pathway right now as a milestone in that, a journey. So it's paving the way for me to attain that dream.
What has it been like since you've been back to school? Well, for those students who are new to high school or preparing to sit external exams, we have some great advice for you. So grab your notebook because you will need to write down all these words of wisdom.
For those students going into 5th form and 6th form this year, you might be a little bit nervous. Why? Because you have the CAPE and CSEC subjects to sit. But don't worry, we have invited 2 young men who recently completed their examinations to speak to you on how their experience was and to give you some tips on how you can do your best this year. Joining me are Gawain Wright and Dwayne Henriquez. Thanks for joining me, guys.
You're welcome, miss.
Okay, Gawain. So, which school are you coming from?
I'm coming from the Mona High School and I sat chemistry, biology, physics, maths, English, electrical, geography and social studies. I got a 1 in all sciences, a 1 in math, English, electrical, and I got 2 in social study and geography.
Congratulations. So I guess you can talk to students now, give them some of the studying techniques that you use to do so well in your exams. What are the tricks that you used?
Well, for me, I ensured that I became comfortable with the information that was given to me. And so when it is drawing near to examination period, I don't have to stress about getting that information inside because it would already been in my mind. The next thing I do is I make a study timetable, so I spend equal amount of time in each subject area. The next thing I do is I try my best to have interest in all my subjects because without interest, you will not do well in that subject area.
Awesome. So Gawain, were there any persons in your life who helped you to, to push yourself to do well academically?
Yes, indeed, miss. I would first of all like to say it wouldn't be possible without God. And my sister was the main driving force behind me. She would be there, she would give me the motivation that I needed, and she would help me with my work. She's a scientist herself, and so if I have any issues with homeworks or stuff like that, she would give me advice and show me the right path.
Okay, tell me about some of the activities that you were involved in at Mona, some of the prizes that you received. I'm sure you got some.
I was the science club president, the maths club president, and I was a part of the Spanish club also.
And the final question is, where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
I see myself in a lab with all my students, and we are doing work that we all enjoy and trying to better the scientific area of this world.
Thank you so much, Gawain, and I hope that you will achieve your goal of becoming a lab technician just like your sister. And now we will be joined by Cape student Dwayne Henriquez from the Spalding High School in Clarendon. So Dwayne, you just completed Cape. Was it upper six or lower six? Tell me a little bit about the grades and the subjects that you did at Spalding High.
Well, I'm from Cobbler in Manchester. I did MOB, which is Management of Business, Principles of Accounts, Sociology, Caribbean Studies. I got 3 2s and 3 4s.
Awesome. So, Dwayne, did you know that you'd have done as well as you did, and why?
I have a lot of persons around me motivating me to do well. They helped me academically, they motivated me, and also financially. Without these persons, I wouldn't have done so well, as I would be worried about things like finances and if no one really cared or that sort of things like that.
Okay. What will you be doing for the rest of the year?
I'll be attending the UE at the University of the West Indies, doing Bachelor of Science degree in Banking and Finance.
What is your advice to students like Gawain who will be sitting Cape subjects this year?
Well, my advice to students doing Cape this year is that you must manage your time wisely because it's a lot of work. The Cape syllabus is very wide. Just practice independent learning, read widely, so you can keep in check with your teachers, do your IAs on time, which is a very important part of doing Cape and a very time-consuming part of doing Cape. Hard work is one of the kindest things, and it won't disappoint. Once you work hard, you can get anything you want in life.
Thank you so much, Gawain.
Thanks.
So there you have it. Wise advice from Gawain and Dwayne. If you're entering 6th or 5th form this year, I hope that you were jotting down those tips and, I hope you were thinking about what they said. All the best in your future endeavors. I know you will do well.
All motorists, pedestrians, private and public operators, motorcyclists, it is important for us to drive defensively. Driving defensively saves lives, and we know that lives are most important to each and every one of us. It is important also to be trained and certified as a defensive driver, for it increases the likelihood that you'll prevent collisions on our roadways.
There are a myriad of learning and teaching styles in education. However, there is one key technique that students want teachers to adopt to help them learn. What's that? Find out in this next feature.
How many is that? 20. All right, so of my population, we have strongly agreed. So let's count up all the persons who agree over here. Count 10 plus 2, 12 persons agreed. Everybody understands what was taught a while ago about interconnection?
Understand the work so that when we go home we can be able to study it on our own, so we can get better grades or good grades on our tests, so that we can get something.
It makes me feel very happy to know that there is a teacher who might tell me if I do not understand.
Assurance means so much to our children. It's motivation for them to perform at their very best, even right here in the classroom. And my little friends, Miracle, Alyssa, Rihanna, and Latanya will agree as I ask them this very important question. Why do you want your teacher to make sure that you are learning?
Because in our future, we'll have to get some good careers and it will mess us up. For instance, if you are going to be a chef, you got to learn what ingredients to use and what to not use.
As Miracle said, it will interfere with our future if we don't get a good education or not. So it is very important for our teachers to teach us so that it doesn't interfere with our careers and our future.
Affirm me that I can learn.
What do you want from your teacher?
Like her attitude supposed to be good. So if I say I don't understand and she's doing it over and over again and she's been making up her face, I like her to work on her attitude. Well, I would like her to work on the way she explains it because it would be nice if they would go a little slower and go through it with us so that we can get to understand it properly. Affirm me so that I can learn.
Thomas, you heard the students. They said they want teachers to explain more to them. They want them to don't speak too soft or too harsh to them to make sure that they are learning. What do you say to that?
First and foremost, I do believe, like the children, that teachers have to be patient. And even though somebody may be a very good student in one subject area, they may not be a very good student in another subject area. And secondly, explanation is part of the curriculum.
What are some of the things that you do? What are some of the methods that you use as a teacher to make sure that your students are learning?
Some students understand quicker, some don't, so we can pair them up with those who don't understand, because sometimes peer learning is better than even us explaining. But I find that they understand better and they understand longer, so they remember longer when they work on it themselves, and it is the same for us as adults. So the confidence that they have help them to develop and want to learn more, even if the topic is something that they didn't like in the first place.
It is good to know that you have somebody that you can go to that is willing to help you to understand what is being taught.
Affirm me so that I can learn. I feel good when my teacher gives me good comments on my work.
Like, keep it up. Good job. And those are some compliments that will motivate children as they go on in life.
I will continue to affirm my students that their learning benefits them.
Affirm me that I can learn.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to let us know what you learned today by sending us your feedback via email at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. You can find more content like this on our website at jis.gov.jm. Join us again tomorrow for another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry, wishing all our new and returning students an extraordinary learning experience.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.